Dak Prescott's performance against the Green Bay Packers was ugly, to keep it PG. And a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans are sick of this dude at quarterback, and you want to get rid of him. And people have been wanting to get rid of Dak Prescott for a while now. It seems like for 3 or 4 years straight now, there's been Cowboy fans out there and other people in the media screaming, trade Dak Prescott. And look, the idea of trading away Dak Prescott and getting a better quarterback sounds appealing. It really does. But the problem is, who are you going to replace Dak Prescott with that you know is going to be a significant upgrade? Because Dak Prescott is still a top 10 quarterback, all right? Even though he has his shortcomings in the playoffs, there's still only a handful of quarterbacks that you would take over Dak. So with Dak Prescott, the dude plays good enough that you believe you can win with him, but he never plays bad enough that you want to replace him. You see the dilemma that the Cowboys are in? And now he's due for a new contract extension, and he wants $60 million a year. Like, hell no, I'm not paying you $60 million. Anything that Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert are making, Dak Prescott shouldn't get anywhere remotely close to what those dudes are making. And if he does, they need to renegotiate their contracts and go back to the seating table, because there's levels to this. You see, you got your tier 1 quarterbacks like Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, and then you got your tier 2 quarterbacks, which is where Dak Prescott is at right now. And I don't believe that the problem in Dallas is Dak Prescott. The dude is too good of a regular season quarterback to be this terrible in the postseason. There is something wrong with the coaching. And it goes to Mike McCarthy. I thought that it was a stupid hire of hiring him in the first place. It was a safe conservative hire, but who cares? You're the Dallas Cowboys. Take a risk. Hell, go out there and get a legend. You could have got Sean Payton last season. All you had to do was trade for him. You wasted a first-round pick anyway on Bonzi Smith, because what has he done this season for you? But I don't believe that Dak Prescott is the entire problem in Dallas. I believe you can win with a Dak Prescott. I believe you can win with the Kirk Cousins. Hell, you can win with a Tua Tagovailoa as long as you put them in the right situation with a great head coach. Dak Prescott had one of, if not the best season of his career. He was an MVP candidate at one point. There are players who eventually can break through the cracks. It's hard to find a Dak Prescott in today's NFL. So unless you guys have any other better solutions out there of who the Dallas Cowboys can realistically go out there and get, who can be an upgrade from Dak Prescott, like, can you trade for Caleb Williams? Probably not. But if you could, okay, now we're talking. Caleb Williams over Dak? Okay, I wouldn't be against it. Now, Dak Prescott compared to Justin Herbert, do you make that trade? Absolutely not. You're not taking Justin Herbert over Dak Prescott, man. Like, Dak Prescott is one of the best pure throwers of the football in the National Football League. The Cowboys are just stuck with this dude until they can find a better young solution. Maybe that's Trey Lance. Who knows? But until they can find somebody to sit behind Dak Prescott who they can groom for the next couple of years, who can become his successor, they're not going to be able to get rid of him, because you're never going to find a quarterback that's good enough to give you the same level of play that this dude has. He plays well in the regular season. I have a hard time believing that he can't play well in the playoffs. I've seen him play well in the playoffs before. It's possible. He wasn't always trash in the playoffs. He looked pretty solid his first time ever making it to the playoffs, and he looked good when they beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and then he just fell apart against San Francisco. That's coaching to me. Dak Prescott is not a quarterback that you can't win the Super Bowl with. The dude is a pretty good leader. He doesn't look like Tua gets small in the big moments. I think he's capable. And this isn't me being biased. I just really think that the coaching just is too sorry. To be real with you, if you get a Bill Belichick in the building, if you're Jerry Jones, and you can get Josh McDaniels in there, I bet they can win with Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Hell, if you get Jim Harbaugh, I'm pretty sure he can win with Dak Prescott in the playoffs. You see, Dak Prescott can't go anywhere anytime soon. Unless you're about to replace him with the quarterback, there's only so many quarterbacks out there. You see, the quarterback market now is getting so saturated with talent that quarterbacks that a decade or two ago that might have been considered good are average now, and teams want to replace them. Dak Prescott is still a top 10, top 12 quarterback at worst, depending on how you feel about him. And with him being a top 10 quarterback, how many other top 10 quarterbacks are out there that you can replace Dak Prescott with? You couldn't get Lamar Jackson. You're not going to be able to get Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or any of the other top guys anytime soon. So unless you trade up for a Caleb Williams or you find a way to get a young quarterback in the draft, you're stuck with Dak Prescott. The quarterback position is way too valuable to be taking gambles with dudes who have the capability of being able to get it done. Like, we've seen worse quarterbacks than Dak Prescott make it to the Super Bowl. Like, I would take Dak Prescott over Joe Flacco. The only reason y'all probably would disagree with it is because Joe Flacco has the playoff success. But Joe Flacco has been under one of the longest tenure head coaches in NFL history. Dak Prescott had the master clapper and Mike McCarthy. You give this dude a better head coach, I'm pretty confident he can win because he's one of those quarterbacks that needs to be slightly elevated by coaching. Not a lot, just slightly elevated. And giving him a better coach could bring the best out of him. And I just don't think Mike McCarthy or Jason Garrett were those guys. And, you know, like, Dak Prescott wasn't the only quarterback who was coming up short in the playoffs. So was Tony Romo. So is it a Dak Prescott thing or is it a Dallas Cowboys organizational thing that they just have a tendency of consistently underperforming once the postseason rolls around? They've only won 5 games since they won last Super Bowl. And the last time they won the Super Bowl, you were still watching those replays on VHS tapes and cassettes. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm stuck with Dak Prescott. Unless somebody comes calling and the Bengals want to, for some odd reason, want to trade Joe Burrow for Dak Prescott, or the Ravens want to trade Lamar for Dak Prescott or something like that, then you do it. But there aren't really a handful of quarterbacks that you can name that are better than Dak Prescott who are easily attainable. So I wouldn't pay him a massive contract, but the Cowboys are stuck with Dak Prescott. They're stuck with Dak Prescott. Now,